Good evening, Board. This evening I'd like to present to you our VISD facilities overview to give you a little bit of information about where we've been, where we're going, and some of our current needs that we have right now. Our board goal, one of them, our number 6 board goal, is on growth, and that board goal states that we're going to monitor our current facilities to ensure district meets current and future needs of the district. Let's look at our enrollment growth, historical and projected, for just a moment. When we look at our enrollment, our overall student enrollment is stable. We have an average enrollment from growth from 1995 to present at about 80.80% a year. Our student population has grown by 272 students in the last 17 years, and our estimated growth for the next 10 years is 8%, or about 188 students. So we want to monitor our facilities, we want to monitor our student growth. You can see that we're not growing too much, but we're not losing any enrollment either. We look at our enrollment history and growth projection. You can see where we in 1995-96 we're at 1993 for enrollment, and currently we're at 2453. So it's just a very small, steady upward climb. We also have to look at our career and technology projected growth. With our career and technology, we've seen growth at about 3.66% a year. Our K program is expected to grow, however, by more than 36% over the next 10 years. And that's a conservative estimate. Our current estimates are indicating that during the next 10 years that more than 80% of our high school students will be enrolled in at least one K class. That's pretty amazing that 80% of our kids will be enrolled in a K class each year. Now, before we get any further on that, there's a couple of things under the current funding system that I need to remind you about. We get money for these K classes. We get money through enrollment through our ADA. Also, our career and technology is funded at a higher percentage or higher weight. So as more kids get involved in that program, it helps us to generate more revenue. And with that higher weight, we invest more money into our technology and provide our students with the resources that they need. We can look at our trend chart here, and we can see that we got an upward climb in FTEs up to around, we're right at 212 FTEs right now. Now, something happened when you look at the graph at 2003, 2004. Not really sure what happened there. There was a change of personnel or something like that happened. Can't really find anyone who can explain well as to why that happened. Our bilingual enrollment since 1995, it's grown by a phenomenal 164%. With an average growth rate of 9.68% a year, our bilingual population will more than double within the next 10 years. That's a large increase. We look at our ADA, we're currently at 230, almost 231 with our bilingual ADA. So you can see there's a sharp spike upward with our bilingual. Oh, and one other thing in regard to our bilingual, just want to say that this chart shows that about 10% of our school population will be Hispanic or Spanish English learners. This also affects our free and reduced lunches. It affects our socioeconomics. So we have got to provide resources for them as well. Looking at our special ed reduction, you can see that we're experiencing an average of a 1.14% year reduction in special ed FTEs. Looking forward, looking at a small decline in FTEs over the next 10 years. And the reason for that is because we mainstream our kids. Because we mainstream them, we are continuing to increase significantly at about 6.56% a year with that increase, and that's a result of NCLB and the least restrictive environment, and that's due to our inclusion program. And what that means is that we have those students in the classroom, and we have aides and special teachers that go in there and they work with those students within the classroom, and that's what we refer to as the least restrictive environment. Also, we've got more and more of our kids that are being identified or enrolling with academic, social, emotional, or behavioral disabilities. And also we have students that require services through regional day schools, hearing and vision. So those things all affect our special education enrollment. We can look at the FTEs and you can see that downward spike, and that's going to continue to go down. We see our ADA continuing to go up as we get more and more students in with special needs. We look at our teacher and teacher staffing from our early childhood all the way up to 12th grade, and you can see here at those numbers, and you'll recall that we got a waiver earlier this year. We were not at 22 to 1. We've got a waiver for 24-1, and we needed to do that for several reasons. But one of them, we had the reduction in force. We had reduced personnel, and we asked for that class size waiver. And so in our kindergarten and first grade and second, third, where we had 8 teachers in a lot of those classes, we went down to 7. And we have a you can see some needs that we've got, and as our in second grade. And you look into third grade and you can see that they're understaffed there, but we'll be moving one of the second grade teachers up to the third grade to cover those needs. Let's look at our facilities and our facts and figures on that one. We completed a $38.5 million bond program in 2009 that consisted of new construction and renovations. In that one, you'll recall, we did our current football stadium. We did a lot of renovations to the high school, to the junior high, and to our elementary and intermediate campuses. We currently maintain and operate almost 615,000 square feet of building space and about 172 acres. Currently, we're compiling an internal facility study and a long-range plan to be complete by the end of the year 2012. Now, our school district has 245 acres in plant sites that each of the campuses are on, but we only maintain 172 acres. We have 4 men on the lawn crew, so by the time these men have mowed everything, it's time to start back all over again. They get behind when it rains, and they work very hard. They can't mow when we're starting tax testing either. They have to find something else to do, somewhere else to go work on those days. On this next slide, you will see a list of some of the renovations and the constructions that's gone on in our district. This is just a snapshot of where we're at. We've pretty much touched every facility over the past 2 years. So I think that we're in pretty good shape as far as just kind of hitting the high water mark with this one. We have some older facilities that we've done quite a bit of renovation on and probably have expanded their life another 15 to 20 years. The middle school that was constructed in 2008 will probably be the first one that we'll need to look at renovating and updating first in another 10 to 11 years. Looking at our facilities as far as the roof goes, we maintain 20 rooftops. We've got flat roofs, composite, modified rolled, we have some metal. And then we look at our air conditioning units, and we have 416 units, and that may not seem like a lot, but it is. And if you look at that last one down there at the bottom, 72 units that are 21 or more years old. You talk about saving energy. You can probably replace those 72 units, and they're probably running at around 6 to 10 Sears. So at $5,000 a unit, that's about $350,000. So to replace those would be a self-payer with the difference it would make in energy cost in the long term. To take care of the bottom 3, that's about 221 units. It cost us about $1 million. So that could, and those could go out at any time. And we hope that if any of these go out, it's one of the ones, the 11 to 21, and not one of our 6 to 10 year units. Here you're going to see a photo of our J.E. Roads, and this is how it currently looks today. And just you'll recall that this one was constructed in 1964, and this is one of those that we renovated in that our last bond issue that we looked at. Here's our South Campus. We did extensive renovations on that one too. You'll recall also that we did a little over 22,000 square feet in renovations. there, and we added approximately 37,000 square feet. And with that, what we did is we had new classroom additions, we put in a new roof, we did some interior finish upgrades, a new security walkway, parent drop-off and pickup canopy, and some expanded parking. And this is this is the south campus still, and this is the side where the parent pickup and drop-off is, and you can see where that canopy is. And that turned out really nice. Here's the new middle school. This one was constructed in 2008. That project size on that one was right at 75,000 square feet. This one included classrooms, a library, gymnasium, cafetorium, and was completed ahead of schedule and under budget. There's your cafetorium, and then there's just another view of the outside of the school. Our Van Junior High, that one was constructed in 1993, was renovated in 2009. Recently, our latest renovations on that campus involved a new classroom wing as well as a new gymnasium, and that project size was right around 20,000 square feet. Van High School, this one was constructed in 1975. It was renovated in 1999. What they went in and added some new gyms, a couple of new practice gyms back in there, and added some new classroom wings, and that currently house our social studies as well as our math hall. And then we went back in 2009 and added a new science wing, a new arts wing, a new cafetorium, a new band hall, and that was a project that turned out really great. Our Van ISD administration building before spring 2012 renovations looked like this. And then here just recently, and you received some board updates and some memos from Mr. Dunn on that one. We've had some roses donated to us from May Nursery, and so we planted those up in the front, as you can see, and we've done some updates and upgrades inside the building with just some different kind of photographs, and move some furniture around so we could update our look a little bit, and also so that when people drive by, it would be a building that we would be proud for them to see. What you're looking at here is the original high school that later became the junior high, which is now used as an archive room in the back. We do a lot of our storage back there. Van Junior High facility needs. If you'll look here, you'll see some yellow barricades, and what's happening there, you see those air conditioning units, and nothing's wrong with those. However, there was a brick wall that was up there, and with the rain and everything, it just wore that out already, and that brick wall finally just fell down. And that's one of the needs that we have on that campus that we're going to need to look at at some time in the near future. Not on our list right now, not on our list for summer projects. However, this next one is the junior high bus driveway. You can see where all that's cracked right there. I'm going to talk to you about that in just a moment. You can see the exposed rebar that is there, and at the bottom is another shot. You can see where the buses have been driving over that. This next one shows some facility needs that we have over at the high school with the tile on the far left. In the middle section, you'll see the carpeting spots. We've got brown and red carpet, and we need to have that replaced. And then on the far right, you're looking at the gym floor and some issues that we're having with that one as far as that peeling and cupping a little bit there. Here's that Van Sports Complex. You can see just another one of our facilities that we have right there in the weight room. This particular stadium that we put in had that synthetic turf and track, home and visitors bleachers. It had a press box with an elevator. It had a new field house, concession, restroom, buildings, parking. Let's look at the facilities though. And one of the things that we have as far as major projects go for this summer is to replace the K1 building roof. We estimate that that's going to cost around $25,000. Now we need to patch it again. We've already patched this roof 3 times, and if you look at that K1 building, it has each of those types of roofs that we looked at earlier. That K1 building has all of those put together, so no wonder it leaks. When we've done campus walkthroughs and it's raining, or it even looks like it might rain, in the little circle room that we of our early childhood center that we sometimes call the Pizza Hut building, there are 4 or 5 gallon buckets that are placed strategically all around that room to catch water that might drip down from that ceiling. That they just get ready because they know it's going to leak. Again, I showed you a picture of the gym floor just a moment ago. We estimate that's going to be $15,000. That floor needs to be resanded and resurfaced. It has never had that done before since it was put down, and we have some issues with the cupping and the finishes peeling up. And based on what they've told us, we have about 8 coats of wax on there, and it's a free floating floor. So when it starts to buckle and move with the joints, the varnish peels up. So it's time to sand it down, repaint it, and put on a new floor. We have refinished the floor with polyurethane, but we have a more serious problem now, and so that's why it's going to cost us $15,000. We also need to resurface the 2 junior high gyms and the middle school gym and the auxiliary high school gym. Now the elementary has a sports floor. It might need to be repainted, but for right now it's okay, so we weren't looking at that as a major summer project. You notice that we're talking about the concrete, the junior high entry. You saw where the buses drove by. It's not a very big area. It's about 25 to 32 feet wide and about 13 feet long, and it's all in about 1 foot square. So as soon as school's out, what we'd like to do is go ahead and pick up and put down some new concrete. We'll be also replacing the flooring in our new high school behavior room with carpet tile. When you saw that tile just a moment ago, and what I want to do, let me go back and just have you look at that for just a moment. You noticed that the tile was completely missing where one desk is, and then down below it, you can see where the tile sort of separated. What happened was when they put that floor tile down, they had a water-soluble base on it. And then during the summer, when our custodians came in and they cleaned it, they put more water down, and it just dissolved it, and that began to buckle and peel up. So that's a problem. So anyhow, that's the reason why we need to get that replaced. We also needed to replace the disposal at the junior high. Now that one went out. Now initially, we thought that would probably cost about $200, but we discovered it was going to cost around $4,500 to have it replaced. Carpet replacement is needed throughout the district. We're going to begin at the high school and replace it with sort of a dark gray carpet, and we're going to look at some high need replacements elsewhere in the district for new carpet with what we have left over. But with just this routine type of maintenance, it's going to cost us around $100,000 just to have this routine work done. Now, we have some air conditioning issues too, so it's hard to predict what will happen this summer, and we're hoping we don't have to do anything, but you never know. Looking at some other long-term considerations, the gym building back over at the intermediate school is a problem. In 2005, we had a construction engineer come and look at that building, and we've had 3 different evaluations done on it. And the best scenario that we got was 5 years on that building, 10 years on the top end. So we're in the middle of that last 5 right now. So in about 3 years, we are going to be faced with a building that's going to be banned. So we've got to make some decisions about that. We really need to build a PE type building there. And it's going to cost us, we estimate, around $750,000 to do that. But that's just part of it. It's just something that we have to do. You know, that building was replaced in 1943 after the original one burned down. So it's been here a while. The stadium, we're not talking about the new one that we just saw photos of, but we're looking at the old one, our original one, our Van Memorial Stadium. It's posing some safety issues. We're going to have the light posts checked for their stability and structural soundness, and get a report on that one. Where the old stands used to be, we have concrete that's broken. And those poles, again, those light poles were probably erected around 1957, 1958. And other than painting them, there's not a record of anything else having been done for them. They're deteriorating. We need to determine their usefulness. Now the field house is empty out there, but it's being vandalized, and doors are kicked in and restrooms are vandalized, and we've got a lot of community people that go out there too. They use that track to walk on, but we need to look at that one and make some decisions on what we need to do with that. Now the Rock building, which is behind the administration building, now most of you know the story behind it. There's a lot of stories that go with it about the people who live there and the ghosts that are in it and the chickens and the goats that are around there too. The old Rock building is where the married couples would live when the big oil boom hit them, and the administration building is not the original housing that was called the Faculty Club. It's the second one, but anyhow, they would house single teachers. That old Rock building, although it has a lot of rich history with it, we're going to have to do something with that too, something else that we need to look at, and possibly taking that down. We'd like to salvage the wood inside is great, beautiful, and using that elsewhere within our district. We're looking at our elementary pre-K3 classrooms. On average, we probably have one classroom per grade level free right now. And even though our population isn't growing exponentially every year, we will need to be making some decisions about growth in the next few years with the expansion of classes at the intermediate and the elementary. That's going to be a big concern. And also, we need to look at our career and technology needs in regard to new facilities as well. Now, when you look at these long-term considerations up here, if you look at the last two, that fourth and fifth one, I don't know how we can escape those in between now and 2017. The cost for those two are estimated at around $15 million minimum. Elementary, one classroom per grade level. Right now we're at a 24:1 ratio, and the state says 22:1. You recall that we got a waiver on that, so we could do that. We had that reduction in force last year, and we wrote that waiver, and that helped us. But we're at full capacity at the time. Our facility is completely inadequate, or will be. And also, our career and technology is completely inadequate for our kids. So in 2017, it's possible that we could have a $22 to $25 million bond election. That means that in 2015, we need to begin planning. And this is something that needs to be done. This is right here, what we're looking at is just a great outline to begin with, do the right thing for our kids. And you know that we've had no new money since 2005. We know that legislature has frozen our target revenue. It's beginning to show up now, not just here, it's across the state of Texas. Facilities will begin to deteriorate because there has been no new money. I don't know how they can say that Texas schools are underfunded. That's been out in the news a lot lately. I don't see how legislators can say that and feel comfortable that saying that Texas schools are overfunded. They're just trying to escape their responsibilities. That's what it is. If Texas were a country, we'd be the 5th richest country in the world. So something's happened. We're not maximizing our resources, but we cannot continue to operate this way. We can't go another 5 years like we've gone from 2005. Things will deteriorate to nothing. So it's critical that we not only look to the future like we're looking at it tonight, but that everyone can get involved with their legislatures. Speaking of career technology, let's just quickly look at technology services, and we're looking at developing a plan to maximize the capacity of the district network. This is a huge facilities need. Integrating our technology into the instructional program and support technology integration through quality staff development. Currently, we maintain over 1,100 district computers, and we maintain, program, and update about 18 network servers. We manage 3 internet providers, and we maintain all of our classrooms, labs, offices, networks, troubleshooting, everything, contract management. In the last 4 years, we've increased our district bandwidth from T1 connections from 3 megabytes to 12 megabytes. And throughout last year, we've been negotiating with Suddenlink for a fiber optic connection, and we've entered into a contract or a partnership with Suddenlink for about 25 megabytes of internet connectivity through fiber optic network. We've moved from a reactive to a proactive service group. And one of the things that we're doing right now is we've just hired a director of instructional technology that will be in place beginning July 1st. Our technology services, our major goals for the remainder of this year are just to complete our replacement of teacher staff computers. That's just taking a while for us to get done. That fiber optic connection should be completed. Development of our district technology plan will be developed, and we're going to expand our distance learning over at our Chevron Technology Center. Let me show you just a few pictures that we've got here of some of our technology needs to make you aware of those concerns. What you're seeing here is we're over at the elementary campus, and you see these wires that are going out all over the place. That's a projector there at the top. You see, again, wires being run underneath carpet. We see that as a safety issue, also as a hazard. Now, right here is you're seeing a box from the phonic ears that they have. We've got wires just strewn everywhere. Again, here's another example of the projector. Yeah, these are headphones, and there you have your jam box, and I think people are using something called iPods and iPads now, something that we might need to look at. Again, you see some more of this, and we sort of shudder to think about how long we've had this equipment. Some of this looks like it goes back to the 80s, maybe earlier than that, some of it. Again, just showing you how teachers are using this technology and the wires that are in the room. Again, we see the jam boxes. This was rather interesting. We have one smart board over at the elementary that one of our teachers is using. They share this one. But on this particular day, the teacher was teaching on living and non-living organisms. Using the smart board, the kids were loving it, and they were having a great time. However, in the very next classroom, it wasn't planned that way, they just happened to be teaching the same lesson. The other teacher didn't have a smart board, and you can see what she did is that she had to spend a lot of time, and she cut out pictures of living and non-living things. So just to show you the difference that technology can make in the life of a child, here are some old computers that our students are using. Look at those. You hardly ever see any with screens like that anymore. Again, there wasn't a cart stand for this projector, so it's on a chair. That's a document camera on a cart, and again, the wires. So anyhow, we look at the importance of good school facilities, and we know that Schneider poses the question, how can we expect students to perform at high levels in school buildings that are substandard? And so some of the things that we have to look at are just the building age and quality. We have some older buildings, but we know what research tells us about those things. We look at school size and class size, the importance of indoor air quality and ventilation, thermal comfort, lighting, and acoustics. Interestingly, when we look at facilities, there's several things to look at. One of course is the need, but the other one is there's been a lot of research, and a lot more is starting to come out about the connection between good facilities and student achievement. And I can't think of a better place where we've seen this than over at the high school with science. Now, we were struggling with our science scores. And then when we did that last renovation and built that science wing in 2009, our science scores went from in the 70s to up in the 90s. We went up, it was 20 points. We went up a little over 20 points after that science wing was built. That science wing had brand new classrooms. It had, we've got the new lab facilities. It made a huge difference. But with that subject that we put down in that new science wing, 20 points. Indoor air quality, we look at all these other things. We know that poor air quality, the effects of that are too important to ignore. Sometimes I refer to this as sick building syndrome. The comfort in a room is important too. Some of our buildings are very, very old, and we've done a lot of renovation, and I think we've done a great job managing the money and being good stewards of that. But the thermal comfort is 68 to 74 degrees, and I think newer facilities will help us monitor that a little bit better. Lighting, there's also been a lot of increased interest in natural lighting for school. Appropriate lighting, the research shows that it improves your test score, it reduces off-task behavior, it plays a significant role in student achievement. The acoustics and sound, we look at those kinds of things. We've got phonic ears in a lot of the classroom because of what the research showed on that one. And our teachers love the phonic ears, and it really it's good for the kids because it forces them to focus and listen in better, and it's a lot easier on our teachers because they're not having to yell and scream all day. We look at school size. There's been some research, or quite a bit of research actually, that's associated smaller schools with higher student achievement, which is significant because we have such a high importance and stress on test scores and test assessment. But anyhow, that's the importance of good school facilities. As we get looking to the future, again, in 2015, we need to begin planning for a bond election in 2017. We need to look at a new elementary school. We need to look at a career and technology center. We need a new gym at the elementary. And all this is estimated, all that would be estimated to cost at around $25 million. So all in all, when we look at these things, we see right now currently that our buildings are in good condition, that we've got a good supportive educational environment for our students. But yet we see that there are some needs that are coming up, especially with our elementary school. We see that, eventually that enrollment's going to be going up, and even with a 24-1 waiver, we're going to have some problems, and then eventually we're going to have to go back to that 22-1, but we're going to need some more classrooms as well. Our buildings are not seriously overcrowded at this point, but we're going to be a little bit cramped, and we need to be proactive with that one. We've got a few areas that are not safe. That old gym that we were looking at, and that we're going to have to tear down. Currently, our facilities are in good shape. I would say that our facilities currently, they're average. Are they phenomenal? No. Are there things that we need to do? Yes. That we're going to have to do, that we're not really going to have a choice, like the new elementary school coming up? No. With our Career and Technology Center, we're going to have to do something with it and really look seriously at that. So all in all, we know that good schools make good communities. We know the impact that good schools can have, and we know too that good schools are critical to student achievement and to student success. So anyhow, I think I just think that as we look forward to the future, that we need to begin seriously planning and seriously looking at what those needs are going to be and how we're going to go about meeting the needs of our students in the future. So thank you for your time this evening.